the Christmas season, one woman spoke for an entire nation. Now we're speaking to her. I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid, and you're watching a very special holiday edition of The Gun Show.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Please get the fuck out of BC.
Have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Yeah, you suck.
This Christmas, unless you've spent it in a coma, you've already heard and know about our first guest. She is a mom and a parental rights advocate. Her name is currently trending on X, and she's made the front page of just about every newspaper across the nation, including the Toronto Sun. About 80% of Canadians are calling her a Canadian hero, while the remaining 20% are delusional and participating in Trudeau's PR machine. Everybody, we'd like you to meet Emily Duggan.
Hi, Emily. Thanks for joining us. Lise tracked you down right after the news broke that you sent your well wishes and Christmas greetings to the Prime Minister on a ski hill. And everybody's talking about you. We thought we would do something that nobody in the media has thought to do, and that's actually talk directly to you. So thanks for taking the time. Emily, tell us exactly who you are.
Well, that was quite the intro. Thank you for that. Like you said, I'm Emily Duggan, and I am a stay-at-home mother of two and a parental rights advocate who lives in British Columbia. And I just happen to live in the area where our Prime Minister was skiing. I also just happened to be on the hill the same day as him, and he just happened to walk past me in the parking lot as I was leaving to go to my car with my family. And an opportunity like that, I mean, it usually doesn't even arise once in a lifetime, but it did for me. And he walked past me and I saw him and I was like, no way. I got something to say to that guy.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Please get the fuck out of BC.
Have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Yeah, you suck.
Well, you said it for the entire nation of Canada, Emily. I think there's a lot of people that were pretty jealous that you're the one that got to meet him. But tell us about that interaction on the ski hill. Like, what was he like?
Yeah, it was in fast motion and slow motion at the same time. I'd like to start at the beginning, if that's okay, because there's a lot of speculation and rumors going around that I am actually been finding quite entertaining. But here's what actually happened. I have two small children and they go skiing every winter with their dad. Normally I stay home and bake and that's their activity that they do with their dad, and they enjoy it and they have a lot of fun. Well, this year, their first time up the mountain was going to be on the December 27th, and they really wanted me to come with them. Now, my ski ability is not great. I'm not a skier. I know how to ski. I have skis, but it's really hard on me. It hurts my knees. I've got bad knees. And so I try to avoid it. But I thought, you know what? I'd really love to see my kids' abilities out on the hill and see how good they're doing. Okay, I'll go. And my husband joked and he said, like, Justin Trudeau's there, supposedly. And so I was like, wouldn't that be something if we ran into him? And because I'm a parental rights advocate, I have a hoodie that I made. And on the back, it says, I don't co-parent with the government. So I wore it thinking, wouldn't that be great if I skied past Justin Trudeau wearing a hoodie that says, I don't co-parent with the government. And then I made a post on my Facebook with me wearing the hoodie saying like, hey, I hope I get to see Justin Trudeau and he gets this message. And it was just kind of like a joking fantasy all day. And like I said, I'm not a great skier. I was not skiing around the resort looking for him. I did 2 runs and they were down Easy Street. I went up one chairlift twice, and then we ate the lunch that we had packed, and my knee was on fire. My left knee, I've got some old life injuries, and it was really on fire. So I'd taken back the boots that I'd rented, and my kids went up on the tow rope lift on the bunny hill. And so I walked up the hill and watched them ski down a couple times. And then it was like getting to be 2:30. And I said, hey, we better get home. We've got a little homestead. We had to get home to feed our animals. We'd best be going. But the kids and my husband, they headed down to the parking lot, and I went to grab my skis and my poles. And I was like hobbling. I was limping and I met them down at the edge of the parking lot. And, I do have to say that it was actually, it was Justin Trudeau's security detail that gave him away. They stuck out like a sore thumb. It was actually quite comical. I get down to the parking lot and I see this man, he's wearing black and he's got like a fanny pack and you can see the coiled earpiece and he's like talking. And I was like, well, that's unusual. And then I look and I see another man that looks the same. And you could see that they were trying to blend in and look casual, but it was not successful. And then Justin Trudeau's daughter walked past me and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And my knee was I was in quite a bit of pain. My knee was really bothering me. And then I looked up and there he was putting a snowboard in the back of a truck. And my youngest was fussing over her glove. She was upset she couldn't get her glove in. My husband was helping her. My oldest was upset because we were leaving. She wanted to stay longer. So they were doing that. And it just was like, it just came over me like, oh my God, all day I have been joking about what I would do if I saw him. And he's right in front of me right now. And a lot of the online banter is like, I've seen people saying this was staged. She's a paid actor. Pierre Poilievre paid her. Justin Trudeau paid her to cause a ruckus. No, I think what really happened, like the security detail was there. They were surrounding us. It was very intense. But I think what happened was when they walked past us, we somehow just got encompassed in their perimeter. We were just, it was really curious. And so he was walking away and he was talking to somebody. I don't know who it was. They were shaking hands and like thanking each other, it seemed like. And I was limping towards him, trying to get to him before he got to his vehicle. And I didn't have a plan. There was no plan. Both him and I were as shocked, just as shocked as each other with what came out of my mouth. That wasn't part of my, like.
It was an authentic moment, is what you're saying.
Well, the thing is like I had his security detail. There's a guy one step behind me. Like as soon as they saw that I was walking towards him, there was one of his security details that was one footstep behind me. He had his arm out. The other guy started to come out from around the cars. I was fully aware there was a very good chance that I had a firearm pointed at me. And, everybody says, well, that's not what I would have said. I would have said this, that, or the other thing. And it wasn't a situation where a conversation was ever going to happen.
Yeah, you had 2 seconds to say your thing.
You were moved.
It wasn't like Justin Trudeau and his security detail were going to stand in a parking lot and hash out the last 10 years with me. That's not what was ever going to happen.
Right.
And so I had 3 seconds to make an impact to the leader of the country who has led us into devastation and disappointment repeatedly, time and time again. And he was holding my hand. And it just kind of came out of my mouth. It was a one sentence, please get the F out of BC, you suck. And who knew one handshake and one F-bomb would create such a circus?
You're a woman who seized the opportunity before her, and I think you were just moved by the spirit. And your knee also, isn't it ironic that Canada's crappy healthcare system was the reason you were at the bottom of the ski hill to confront the guy responsible? Isn't that interesting?
I maintain that you manifested that moment, Emily. I believe that you manifested that moment and it was just waiting to come. But yeah, do go on, Sheila.
I am unfortunately deeply online, and I don't think that I should be. Sometimes it's not good for me. And you are following a different track, Emily, which I think is good. But how do you address the criticisms that we should just leave the Prime Minister to have a quiet holiday with his family? I mean, especially given that he's denied Canadians this affordability election that they want. He has a private taxpayer-funded resort called Harrington Lake that he could have gone to if he wanted to stay out of the public eye. And I guess, lastly, that for the last 4 years, other people's children have seen him calling their parents names. How do you address that? You should respect the office of Prime Minister, and he was there with his kids, and so you shouldn't have said anything at all.
I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Everybody is entitled to their opinion. We're all individual and we all make our own choices. And that was something that I did consciously and subconsciously all at the same time. But my response to that is he's the Prime Minister of Canada. He's going to go places and he should be allowed to go places. And his citizens have a right to let their highest level of elected officials know what they need from him. And that's all I was simply doing. Mr. Trudeau, I need you to get out of my province, please.
Now, you also said, Trudeau takes his kids to pride parades where they're exposed to all sorts of deviancy. So it feels as though he doesn't want his kids exposed to criticism of him. It's not about the vulgarity of it, apparently.
Yeah, I'm not going to, for one moment, pretend to know what that guy's thinking. But what I will say about the criticism that I'm receiving for speaking that way to a father in front of his child, because I think that's what the issue is that I said that to a father in front of his child. My response to that is, I'm not entirely sure how to keep up with what we're sheltering our children from and what we're not sheltering our children from. This is a man who has approved sexually explicit materials to be available in schools across our nation, explicit materials that talk about blowjobs, sexual orientation, anal sex, and then these people that support this, they want to be upset that I dropped an F-bomb in front of his kid. It's, what are we sheltering our kids from? Make it make sense. Like, pick a lane and stay in it, guys. I mean, it's hypocritical. It doesn't make any sense. And I guarantee you that the children of Justin Trudeau have seen and heard worse. All of his children are at reading comprehensive levels. They travel the country regularly. They have eyeballs. They've seen more Trudeau flags than we can possibly imagine. I'm sure those kids are going to be fine. That's my response to that. Let's get real.
That's exactly right. If anybody was supposed to be worried about what the Trudeau kids are being exposed to, it should be Trudeau himself. And he could end that really quick by resigning. Emily, now that you yourself are in the center of the news cycle, your name is currently trending on Twitter. You're on the cover, like I said, of all of the major newspapers. And the Trudeau apologists are now on your case. What are they up to since figuring out who you are? What have you experienced in the wake of this?
Oh, yeah, I've gotten death threats. So as you've said, I'm a parental rights activist. In some of my activism, I've been trying to participate in local politics just at the entry level. I've run for school board trustee twice. I've lost twice, and that's fine. And so they're really bringing that up. We're so glad that you're a failed politician. and there's a rumor going around that I have a restraining order against me from an ex-husband. I'm not sure where that came from. I don't have an ex-husband, so that's fun. My cell phone number is out there, and people have been texting me, phoning me, calling me garbage, telling me to kill myself, telling me to watch my back. Karma comes around one way or another. It's really very interesting because typically this is the no space for hate crowd. And it, right. I mean, feels
we know them.
Really
we know them well,
fueled.
Emily. We know them well. Yes,
Yeah,
we absolutely do.
The same people worried about decorum on a ski hill are doxing you and sending you death threats. Imagine that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's certainly interesting. All I did was shake a man's hand. I said, please. Like I said, please.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think it could have gotten any more Canadian than that. I like when you have 3 seconds to make an impact in the least threatening way possible, because you're surrounded by some pretty serious dudes. And you really do just want to say it and turn around and get back to your family, get in your car and go home, make dinner and feed your pony. And luckily that's what I was able to do. I got my 3 seconds. I said my statement. shocked everyone, myself included. I turned around and I walked back to my husband and kids. We got my youngest glove figured out, and we walked over to the car. We were tailed by our CMP. Like, it wasn't just over. And actually, Justin Trudeau, he yelled at me as I was walking away. He said, because I stopped recording because I quickly was trying to post it because nobody was going to believe that happened if there wasn't video evidence.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that I was going to be arrested, and I wanted to post it before they arrested me.
Oh.
Like, there was a lot going on in my mind in a very short amount of time. And so I missed recording him say to me as I was hobbling away, he said, "You really hobbled all the way over here just to say that to me?" And I just nodded my head and said, "Yes, sir, I did."
Yeah, because that's how important it was that you said it.
Yeah, it, people are saying like, "Oh, she staged that." She waited for him all day. That's not true. That's any employee who works at Red Mountain. I mean, just check out the security camera. You'll see me hobbling around and complaining all day.
And you know what's so interesting is that the MSM had him in Kelowna, and they had him all over British Columbia. And it wasn't until we saw your video that we realized that no, he was indeed at Red Mountain.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, that happened. People were saying that happened days beforehand. So to set the record straight, that happened on December 27th, in between 2:30 and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So he was very much at Red Mountain in Rossland, BC, and I didn't go out of my way. That's the hill that my family skis at. It's our local ski hill, one of. And I didn't follow him around. I didn't stalk him. I didn't sit and wait. I didn't camp out. He walked past me, and at the end of the day, his security detail kind of let him down.
Oh, don't think that they're not going to be having meetings about this after, Emily, because they are going to be reviewing this. Yeah, they sure are.
And I have to tell you, you are right to have been concerned about something happening to you at the hands of his security detail. We've seen how they treated David Menzies, and no one would have believed the atrocious and violent way in which they treated David Menzies if it were not on video. And so you are right to be concerned. I mean, David Menzies has 2 artificial hips, and everybody knows who he is. And so could you imagine how they would have treated you if you had not been recording? You're right to have worried about that. Now, I'm going to ask you a question in retrospect. Would you have changed anything with your interaction with the Prime Minister on the ski hill? What would you have done differently?
Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Please get the fuck out of BC.
Have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Yeah, you suck.
I think it doesn't matter what I would have done. You can't please them all. It's impossible. And the only reason that I would change what I did would be to remove some of the disappointment from some people's reactions. But at the end of the day, I think short and sweet's always best. I think, I'm not prepared to backpedal. So what I said is what I said. I meant what I said. It's unfortunate that his children witnessed it. I wouldn't change it. Like I said, we were standing in the parking lot. It wasn't an opportunity for a conversation. It was an opportunity for a statement. And what a statement I made.
This is not a guy that was interested in having a conversation with you. In any case,
no.
He was not a no.
He doesn't think somebody like you has a place in society. He said as much.
Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là, ou est-ce qu'on dit, voyons,
Yeah, well, I mean, he's already labeled me a terrorist a couple years ago. Like he's probably said worse things about me than I've said about him.
If you can imagine. I was just going to give Emily the opportunity to tell people how they can find out more about Moms Against the Norm and maybe get involved in what you do.
Yes, so you can look us up on Rumble. Like I said, we've got a Rumble channel there. Moms Against the Norm, Conversation with Emily is my podcast. If you know anybody who's been affected by gender ideology, please reach out. You can email me, momsagainstthenorm@gmail.com. I'd love to help them share their story, to heed warning to others. And I just want to give parents and guardians or caregivers just a little inspiration and a little nudge. The best way that you can protect your child from gender ideology is to engage and be involved in their public education. So make yourself known. I know we're all busy. Lots of people work in more than one job, but get on a first name basis with the employees of your kid's school and politely let them know where you stand. We don't want to teach grade 4s about blowjobs. That's not going to keep them safe. That's insane.
Well, Emily, I want to just thank you so much for taking the time to share your side of the story with us about what transpired at the ski hill. Lise, thank you for working hard over the Christmas break to track down Emily and put this interview together. Thanks to everybody who's going to work behind the scenes to put this interview together for our viewers to watch on their Christmas break as well. And Emily, I honestly can't wait to see what you do next.
You're just a gem, just an absolute treasure, a national hero. Emily Duggan, everyone.
Canadian heritage moment.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I know I speak for Lise. I'm sure I speak for Emily, and I know I speak for about 80% of Canadians when I say we need an election, not now, yesterday. If you'd like to sign our petition calling on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to finally do what's right by our country and call an election, please go to calltheelection.ca.